Want to welcome everybody to today's Mastermind. We have the opportunity to discuss the endless pursuit of happiness today with none other than Bill Predebon. Here is a guy that I mean, just look at that smile. Here's a guy that knows a few secrets of success, and he has applied these. He's learned them himself by being an entrepreneur, a businessman, a real estate investor. He is just someone eager to share what he's got with everybody else, and he's here with us this morning. Bill, how are you?
Ron, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Glad to have you with us.
I'm glad to be here, my friend. I'm glad to be here. You coming through loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good start. Thanks again for taking the time and pinging me on the phone and double checking what we're gonna talk about today. And thanks for making the announcements and putting together this awesome introduction and everything. I just really appreciate it. I appreciate what you do out there in Utah. And how's your flip going?
We're growing. We're learning more every day. It's my first real hands-on. I've financed other people's fix and flips, and this is a new experience. And of course, everyone's unique and different, but it's coming along. We've got a lot of potential and promise, and I'm very optimistic. Thanks.
No, that's awesome. See, that's all part of what we're talking about this morning, right? The endless pursuit of happiness. It's an ongoing process and definitely a learning process. So once again, thanks for everything, Ron. All right, gang, welcome. We're starting out a little weak today. Only 50 people so far on the messages or on the participants. So if you guys want to reach out to anybody that might benefit from tuning in today, that would be appreciated. I'm not going to sit here, I don't think, and wait for another 49 people to join the call before I get started. But yeah, reach out to some folks. I'll stick my phone number on the chat so you guys can have it. It's 760-533-3141. I try to do that every week if I remember, just in case anybody wants to reach out with anybody in Arizona. Yeah. Or if you have any topics or people you want to talk to or anything like that, it's good to have each other's phone numbers. In fact, I reached out to Wanda the other day and asked her to help me with one of my students who is very interested in enrolling. And I thought Wanda would be able to share her story given their similar backgrounds and things like that. So it's always good to have extra phone numbers. Anyway, if you have, if you have anything you want to talk about, any topics or questions about your marketing or the real estate education that you're studying or anything that is pertaining to Renatus and, it's not on my topic, but you want to get some clarification or some discussion around it, feel free to put it in the chat or come off mute, I guess, and speak up. You can interrupt me. It's not a big deal. In the meantime, I will, of course, talk to you guys. So I'm not exactly sure why I chose this topic, the endless pursuit of happiness, other than number one, I think that's a pretty good description of what Renatus is. I didn't invent this. You guys know this. It is literally a process, right? So it's a continual growth story, if you will, and it's like it says, it's pretty much endless. There's no real true destination. Even when you're on when you make the pack and you get to the pack and you're helping people, your pursuit, I guess, your growth will continue. To the point where you need to remain on the pack, but then you're leading a specific, territory. And then you may start to expand your territory and you have teams like Michael and Scott and John, and you have them in different parts of the country. And so you travel to those places and you put on events And so it's just endless. It's you continue to grow or you die, right? So for most of us, we're not on the pack that I know of on the call. So most of us are, striving to get there, or you're striving to simply just get 5-star, or to, have your first $10,000 check, or make your first $100,000 in a year, or whatever it is. So, here's I'm gonna kind of describe some of the folks that are in my pipeline right now that are funding their education through some stories, and then I'm going to talk about, the constant struggle. So last night, I had a one-on-one with a couple, and the guy about 6 months ago actually reached out to me on Facebook, and he's an old acquaintance that I introduced to real estate. I don't know, back in 2010, maybe almost, 8 years ago, and he moved back up to Washington. We fell. We were not, did not stay in touch that much, but anyway, he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey man, I'm really interested in getting into real estate and working with you again." And so I was like, "Hey man, let's get together." And so, pretty quickly he came to a meeting and he was pretty excited about it, but he was also, things were going on in his life, like everybody's, right? So he had built an insurance business up in Seattle, and he actually sold the business a couple of years ago. He built up a pretty big book of business over 5 years and sold it for like $90,000, or sold it for 100 and netted $90,000. And him and his young girlfriend, they traveled. He moved back down here. He was going to start another business of the same insurance down here, and thought everything was. And I was talking to him last night, and he flew through the money in a very short period of time. And his business he was building down here in insurance was not growing quite as fast as he'd liked, and he thought it would be a lot simpler. And it's interesting because it got not that long ago when I was working with him to get started in Renatus and get into real estate, and obviously there's the $20,000 price tag, and getting in touch with him and meeting up with him was difficult. We're on two ends of other parts of the town. He works till 5 at his office, making calls on insurance, and then his girlfriend works till 5. And so, the timing wasn't right always for us to get to a follow-up. It wasn't a simple lunch, wasn't that popular. He's got a couple kids. So, we had to work around the kids' schedule and stuff like that for him to show up and up to an events and stuff like that. So it's just your typical everyday pursuit of a Renatus prospect. And I wasn't going to necessarily, I drove out to as far where he lives once, my very first follow-up with him during the lunchtime, and I just met with him. And then he started bringing his girlfriend, and then she's pretty interested in the Renatus opportunity as well. And so I needed to meet back up with them. So all the meantime, he's not telling me this, but he's getting to the point where his business is not going anywhere, and he's getting the bare minimum book of business that the company offers as a backup, which is like $1,200 a month, and he's not making his bills. His car payment's $1,350, literally. And so, plus he's got the office overhead. I mean, he's literally drowning. And he went to his district manager and he's like, "Dude, I don't know what to do. I can't cut it. I'm not getting the business that I want. I'm not getting the leads that I want. My leads that I have are not good," and so on and so forth. And he's about ready to throw in the towel, literally, like while he's pursuing coming to work with me. And then this district manager got somebody who was interested in buying his business, his book of business. And so he went in the store, his storefront, and he turned him down. And it was weird because he had just hired a new guy who was doing okay, and a new agent just came in the office to test the waters. And the guy that came in to buy the business offered him $60,000 for the business. And, he would net out maybe $50,000 or so, 45,000. And, but he just didn't feel right. And he felt like he was on the verge of a breakthrough. And sure enough, last month, after 2 months of working through that breakthrough, he broke $107,000 in the 30-day cycle, which was $34,000 higher than anybody else in the area in book of business in policies written that month, right? And so this month he's on pace to possibly do $140,000. The record in the entire record for the last 12 months or more in this area that he works in for all agents all across that entire eastern region was only 99,000. So it worked out. He stuck with it. He didn't give up. He didn't throw in the towel, and he was down to his last dollar and borrowing money from his girlfriend to pay his bills, and it worked out. And so last night, back to this part about it is that I've been looking forward to meeting with him and his girlfriend on a follow-up and getting them enrolled. And so the best time was after hours for he and his girlfriend, because they work these businesses and this job that she works that, any other time wasn't that conducive, and Sundays are not, I really don't like to have to do it on Sundays. And sometimes, and we even planned a Sunday and we weren't able to do it. So I had to schedule it last night, and last night we have our calls. We have our 7 o'clock, which is now an 7 o'clock call. And we have a 8 o'clock webinar, as you guys know. So I usually don't plan things on Monday nights. But I was supposed to meet them at 5. It turned into 5:30, and they didn't get there until probably, I guess they got out of work a little late. They had to get gas, and they probably didn't get to the restaurant till 6:40. So I was sitting there. I got there around 5:45 once I knew what time we were going to meet. And so I had to wait about 30, 45 minutes for these guys to get there, give or take. And so then we got a little bit of a small bite to eat, and, made acquaintances, and, that takes an hour to get all settled in. And then we started getting on with the follow-up. And, I didn't get home till almost, I think, about 9 o'clock last night. And I missed the calls, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, I was obviously doing a money-making activity, so I could justify it this one time on a Monday night. But here's the thing, it caused an argument in my household, right? It was another night I was gone, and I wasn't home, and I didn't really let her know that I'd be grabbing a bite to eat because I wasn't really planning on it. My plans were to get there at 5:30, have an appetizer, and then come home for dinner. And it's not that pleasant all the time, you guys, and you all experience this. The struggles we go through for the pursuit of happiness are real, and they exist, and we have to overcome them. And I don't even know the outcome yet, the argument or the turmoil that caused being out there trying to enroll a student. The upside is they enrolled in the combo, right? We decided come December 1st, he's going to get the bonus check from this month's business. He'll put $10,000 down, between $8,000 and $10,000 down on the financing. And then he gets his yearly bonus, which should be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 50 grand or so. And we're going to pay off UGA on January 1st. Or first week of January, when he gets his yearly bonus from the insurance company. And so, the end result was good. The order went in. He'll be signing his contract. He'll be putting his down payment down next week, or after Thanksgiving rather, and everything will be fine, right? And that in that regard, and it was time well spent. They're excited to get started, but on the other side of the coin, I posted the other day, I've been trying to slow down in real estate a little bit to pursue more marketing. And he asked me why last night, right? And, I guess the number one reason I'm pursuing real marketing as much as real estate and trying to balance the two is that I truly believe in the leverage system that Renatus offers. I think there's a lot less risk involved in the Renatus system. In fact, there's no risk except your pride or whatever, people telling you no, and the time that it takes to do it, right? But the overall gain is a residual income, is a constant income, is something that if you never learn to quit, it will pay you in the future. In a very short period of time, it's a business that can be grown. And it's been proven. I mean, it's been proven through the top income earners in the company, Bob Snyder himself. It's a phenomenal system, along with, more than, several hundred people in the business that are just constantly earning good income on a part-time basis. So with that, that's one of the reasons. And then the other reason is I truly find that, and I think you know this, and I'm going to get to some tangibles here that you guys can apply to your daily business here shortly. But I want to set the stage. The other reason is that I can truly help people. And I know that's, when I hear that a lot of times, especially when I first got started, it's just cheesy, but it's true. I mean, people do need what we have. Everybody does. And when they get started, the opportunity for them is endless. It's an endless possibility of happiness for them. And whether they pursue it themselves, whether they ever get past the starting line is up to them. It's not up to us. Our job was to introduce it to them and give them all the information so they could make a good decision. That's it. It's not up to us for people to be successful. When you get up on stage and accept an award, when you make a $10,000 check, when you enroll a student, when you do all of these things, when you flip a house or whatever, Bob Snyder does not take the credit for you doing it. It's your doing. You did it. You pursued it. You got the money. You found the deal. You found the education. You found the opportunity, and you enrolled in it. You took the chance. You took the step. You bit the bullet, and you did it. You made it happen. So it's the same thing for the people we enroll. It's not up to us to make them successful. It's up to us to steer them in the right direction, give them our experiences, tell stories, introduce them to people, share with them the system. But it's up to them to plug into it and utilize it, right? So, we have an opportunity to help people. And I find that in the Renatus business model, the more I help people enroll, the more my real estate business grows. That's why I continue to stay so busy. But here's the catch-22, right? Is if you think about it, I have 7 properties on the market. I just bought 2 new properties. I'm looking at I have 15 deals on my whiteboard for the year, most of which have sold. And I haven't even added the 2 new ones. There's actually 3 or 4 that I haven't even added onto my whiteboard yet. I'm looking right at it, right? So I could end up somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 deals for the year, which I was not intending to do. I'll exceed my income goal on real estate. And it's, like I said, it's a leveraged business to an extent, but the majority of the acquisition is my end. And I manage the projects, right? I raise the funds. I manage the money. I don't like to give control away on the money at all. Unless I were partnering with somebody and I don't have a partner. So someone I trust, it just doesn't work out. And so, I control that part. So there's some time involved in every flip that I do. So I have a full-time real estate business. And now you guys can take your full-time life, your full-time family, your full-time job, your full-time business that you run, whatever it is, and you throw in Renatus. So we have to understand that, Saturdays, twice a month, I'm gone almost the entire day, right? Typically, I'm running a super Saturday of some sort. I'm doing a training, I'm doing MC and a training, and I'm there. I'm also there at the intensive. Typically, I get up and do the real estate part of the intensive when I introduce the education to people at lunchtime or after lunch or whatever. And of course, I might MC, and I'm there with guests in my team, and I'm present as a leader. Even as just any Renatus, everybody's present, right? And that's an all-day event. And then the other Saturdays of the month, there's a property tour. Luckily, I've got other people in town that are doing property tours, and so sometimes I miss at least once a month. I don't go on a Saturday. But 2 Saturdays out of the month are gone. They're dedicated to business. Now, that would be okay if I didn't work a full-time job, right? I work a full-time business. I run a real estate company. And so you probably have something similar, a full-time family, a full-time business, family and business or family and job. And then you have to throw in Renatus. The system is there to be leveraged and be part-time, but the beginning is a struggle, right? Now, if you think about it, I've been back in this business and decided to do this and made a decision to go all in 100% back in 2016 spring. And so it's been, this is in my opinion, this is really my third straight year of marketing Renatus. And when you make that decision and you volunteer your time, you contribute, it's because you have an end goal. You have a goal to make a certain amount of income and to enroll a certain amount of students. And so the sacrifices are real. I don't really know, and I'll move into, and remember, if you guys have questions or thoughts you want to comment on, but I don't really know another way to do it. There's no easy way to do Renatus. It's a simple business. It's a simple system, but by no means is there an easy shortcut. Some people come into the business, they do pretty well right away. They enroll a certain amount of students. Maybe someone has a pipeline, whatever the reason is, they do okay. And they have some upstart success and things are good. But for the majority, there's a learning curve. And the way you expedite the learning curve is you own the combo, and you all know that. You buy the combo, and then you dive into your education. When you dive into your education, these are some things you can write down if you're writing notes or taking mental notes, because these are things that need to be done, right? When I got back into the education, I got into the education. There's not a lot of real estate that I haven't done. In fact, I don't really know of a strategy that I haven't put to use, including multifamily. I guess I haven't really developed land, but I've built houses, right? So I've split lots. So to some extent, I've done that. Regardless of that, I still study the education. When Velocity Banking came out, I studied it, right? I started to implement it with credit repair, some of the wealth management stuff. I'm always, and then believe it or not, I go back into the buy and hold, managing property managers, those types of classes, and watch them. So you have to implement time, and you have to take away music in your car, or you have to take away music at the gym. Like, I literally go to the gym and I either listen to an Audible or I listen to every once in a while on a Friday, I'll treat myself to music, right? But otherwise I'm listening to the education or I'm listening to an Audible book. Like, it's not a great choice to be working out to. It's not motivating music, but it's a sacrifice. It's a pursuit of happiness that we choose. Like, these are little things that have to be done. And it's not that it's the only way. It's just the only way that I know, right? So I don't know what anybody else is doing. I know what I hear, and some of the long stories of the wealthy that we chase, the wealthy that we look up to, the wealthy that we follow, the history of the matrix people that Woody talks about, they constantly never give up. They're constantly pursuing education, self-development, and things like that. So it's a part of it. And then you throw in Thursday nights, right? So if you think about it, and if you're building a team, I recommend this. I just do. It's helped me significantly with my team, is start your own team call, right? I have a team call. I decided the first time I got a team member that I would have a call. And I remember getting on the call and I said to him, I have no idea what this call looks like. I haven't never done it before. This was June of 2016 when I had like 2 or 3 people on my team. I just enrolled like 3 or 4 students. And a couple of them were UGA, and then a couple combos back in when I first got started, and I started a team call, and we have it every night. And now I have 30 something people on my team that are on that team call, and between 11 and 18 of them get on the call every Tuesday night, and so it's another hour out of my day on a Tuesday night. Monday night, typically, I train at least once a month on the Monday night team call. I host it sometimes, or I listen in. And then Monday night, we have a live webinar. And then Thursday nights, You have a meeting, right? And I decided that I felt, and when I started a long time ago with the old company, we used to have an IMA training. So we implemented an IMA live training prior to the event. So that means we got to get there at 5. We got to set up. We got to get ready for 5:30 to 6:30 training, so people can get ready from 6:30 to 7:30, right? So we have these meetings. Now follow me on this. I don't know what your schedule is, and I don't know what your goals are. I don't know how much money you want to make in Renatus. I don't know how many students you want to enroll, but to my knowledge, it doesn't happen if you're not attending these events. So you either have to quit your job, which I don't recommend, quit your family, which I don't recommend, or you have to add it in. And you add it in by a little bit at a time. You begin to change your diet, if you will, by adding in things. And eventually other things have to come out, right? You can't fit it all in because you already got a busy 24-hour-a-day life schedule as it is. So as you start to add in Renatus events, and we haven't even talked about the follow-ups yet, which I'm going to get to here in a minute. But you've got your follow-ups, you got your calls you got to make on lunchtime or at break time or, in the morning before the kids get up or whatever it is that you're going to make your calls. So when you think about this, you've got to fit these things into your schedule. It's the only way I know that people are successful in Renatus system is that they attend the events. And I think that you all know, I'm speaking to the choir here, but you know what I'm saying is that everybody on the top, everybody that, starting from Bob, we're an event-driven business. We are a live people face-to-face business. And therefore, there has to be contact on the phone, and then there has to be face-to-face interaction, and they have to introduce people to the community, and the community sets us apart from any other business or real estate opportunity in the country. And in order to do that and to get known and to build your real estate business, to partner with people in the community, to raise money, to find deals, find partners, get stories, and learn people's experiences, learn about their trades, people who they're using on their flips and stuff like that. You've got to participate in the business. The environment is created to help you become a real estate investor, to become a business owner. So, the struggle, if you want to call it that, I don't like that term, but for lack of a better one, the pursuit of happiness is riddled with conflict. It's riddled with pressure. It's riddled with resistance. Your family, your friends, your children, your job, it's a balance. It's a learning curve, and you're constantly doing it. And I can promise you I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been an entrepreneur, I guess, only because it's not because I've said, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I don't think I was a very good employee. So fortunately, in my pro skiing days, in my 20s, I was able to just ski whenever I wanted to, and I got paid enough money to survive. And then I got a job in the summer, and in the summer I managed. I worked for somebody, but I worked by myself all the time, and I just hired some of my friends that all worked with me, both in the restaurant that I worked at and my somebody's not on mute. If you want to mute yourself out, just FYI. I don't know who it is. I don't have the whole thing here. I can probably mute you, but anyway, the point I was making is that when I started becoming an entrepreneur in 2000. I was 30 years old. I bought into my first business, which was Play It Again Sports in California. And, but I had to work the store. I had to be at the store every day. I wasn't like some big business owner. I mean, I literally just bought a business. I bought a job, but I worked for myself. I set my own hours. I wrote the schedule. I hired people according to when they could work that I didn't want to work. I joined bowling leagues. I joined golf leagues and everything like that. And I did what I wanted to do. And I worked 60 hours a week. And so, but I worked the schedule I wanted. Right? So I've kind of been an entrepreneur since the majority of my life. I'm a terrible employee, but the point is that it doesn't stop. There's no gate you get to that you go through. There's no finish line that you cross that you say, you know what, no more struggles, no more arguments, no more resistance, no more, we made it. We're at a point where everything is fine, right? I don't know. Maybe there is, and I'm not there. I haven't gotten there yet. I've been doing this with Renatus and real estate for 10 years. And, it started out as a struggle. I don't know what your guys' story is, but you've heard a little bit of mine, but, from not even having gas money to get to the meeting, and it wasn't that I was broke necessarily or without resources. It just, I guess I was broke, but I definitely was broke, but to my own doing. But the point is that, a lot of ignorant mistakes, uneducated decisions on buying property in the boom, reading books and trying to figure it out on my own, and not finding that Renatus in time before I got started, and trying to do it on my own, put me in a situation, put me and my wife in a situation that we were financially in dire straits. And, it's been a struggle ever since. It's been hard. We had to get ourselves out of several $100,000 of debt in the first 5 years that I was doing real estate just to get to where we are. Right. And fortunately we've been able to overcome and pursue it. And now we own property and, 13, 14 doors and all these things, but there's no stop, right? I guess the end goal for us right now would be, to own everything outright, free and clear, no mortgages, right? Which is what we're working on next. But my point is that the pursuit of happiness is, I have ups and downs. There are times when, and I'm not talking about financially, guys. Financial will happen in the beginning. It'll happen until you get to a place where you have abundance of finances. For a lot of people on the call and a lot of people on my team, their first $10,000 check is an amazing thing. Ron just flipped a house. He's been working with me for 1 year. He's in his fourth deal. He raised money for his first deal in the community. He's been wanting to do real estate. I've known him for 9 years, and he's just got 5-star qualified, and he's on his fourth deal now. He just closed and sold his first house and made $21,000, and he split that with his partner. But here's the thing: it takes him like 9 to 10 months as an entrepreneur driving Lyft and Uber to make 25 grand. And in less than 3 months, he made half that on a very, very part-time basis. He was not working at the house flipping it, right? He managed it. He found it, but he didn't do anything on it. It wasn't a lot of his time, and you guys know that. The opportunity financially is just phenomenal, right? When you clear your first $10,000 commission check or earnings check from Renatus, and and you're fortunate enough to not make mistakes and keep your budget down and live on $3,000 or $4,000 a month or whatever it is, then that's a significant return for you and a significant financial gain that can change your life. And when you do that a couple times in 1 month, it's going to make a difference. And so it's not all about financial, but what it is the struggles, right? Talking to these folks last night, his girlfriend's fairly young, and we were talking about the down payment on the, and you'll hear this, right? We were talking about the down payment on the combo for the UGA to get him started till he gets his bonus check. And we were talking about what we put down based on the payment and why it made sense. And the first thing out of her mouth was like, we had a really crappy Christmas last year. We struggled. I really want to have a good Christmas this year, so I don't want to put much money down. Right. So we have that. We have that mentality, right? The minute people get money or have money, a lot of times the first reaction is to spend it on things we've never had before, or we haven't had that abundance in so long that we want to celebrate that in the act of spending. And it's understandable. It's human nature. It's rewarding. It's emotional, and I get it. So even then, even when the money does come in, it's a constant battle as to what to do with the money, right? So that's why the education is so rounded. It's so powerful, is because there's so much in there if you actually study it that enables you to prepare for that, to have expectations on what you want to do with the funding once you get it, the money that you get, the profits that you make, save on taxes, and invest it long term and create a wealth strategy. Yeah, you're going to celebrate wins and you're going to do things, no question. You're going to buy things that you want. But, you know, I drive a, I drive a 2011 BMW, right? It's not a 2018, you know, $100,000 car, right? I mean, it's, you make choices. Now, don't get me wrong. We spend money on things that we like to do. We go on travel and I would be surprised if I don't end up with a new car at the end of the year. But my point is, you know, our cars are paid for, and it's a constant battle for me to put money into the IRS or some of my properties, or look to buy another property, than it is to go out and put a down payment on a big car. And it's a constant struggle. But it's you know, relatively speaking, it's a fairly new, it's still a new experience for my wife and I to be financially free, to be in a position where we have rental income coming in, a lot of it that makes sense, that we, you know, to have disposable income that we can allocate towards things and make decisions on where we want to go and what we want to do. And so I'm just getting started, right? By no means are we anywhere, right? And so on a comparison note, it's very similar to getting started with Renatus in the beginning, like just being 5-star and just doing your first deal. It's about you know, really managing those new horizons that you're going over, and if you let it stop, if you let it define you as when you have a little bit of success or something like that, then you will stop that pursuit of happiness and you will find yourself sliding back. You have to constantly battle those things that are, I don't know, just out there. And so I'm going to move into some of the folks that are in my pipeline right now, and kind of share with you some tangibles on putting these orders in and stuff like that. But, you know, there's I don't know how to say it. Everybody, I would say spend more time talking to your 5-star, you know, find out more stories, but, you know, engage in conversation with people. But, you know, there is no question that that I know of, in the people I talk to, that there is a constant struggle, or struggle is the wrong word. There's a constant balance that needs to be done between family and business. And business tends to, you know, for people on this line, I believe you're A personalities, you're driven by money and success. But even some that aren't A personality driven by money, but you're driven by camaraderie, and you're driven by community. You're driven by helping others and being able to pass on a legacy to your family and take care of your family the way you've always wanted to, and things like that. And just changing your life, but not just your life, but the people in your life's lives. And so because of that, you have to pursue this. And so with that, you tend to spend more time working. You spend more time at Renatus. You spend more time in your education. You spend more time studying real estate and driving out and knocking doors and doing these things that take time away from the things that you love to do. It's the opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. You want to spend more time with your family. You want to have more free time. You want to be a part of all of these things in your life. You want to go to the games, but then you can't do those until you get to where you want to be financially through your business and get your business up and running. So it's what you're going after is completely opposite of what you really want the end result to be, which is to spend more time with your kids and your family. And so, and the folks that are there left behind, that are in your life, that, you know, don't necessarily have the same drive that you do, or they're supportive of you and all those things, but there's a time when you know, eventually they, you know, it's difficult. There is a time when there's a disconnect, and sometimes you have to, in my opinion, I have to constantly look at my balance, and I fail at that a lot. I fail at my work balance and my life balance on a regular basis, because I'm so involved in what it is that I do and why I'm trying to do it. So with that, I will tell you that along the way, like you've heard from Michael and Christian and Scott Rowe and all the pack members' stories, they're at a point where Bob Snyder and things like that, where they can give back. And they I imagine they have the same balance struggles. And I imagine they found ways to conquer those struggles and to balance it out well. And obviously to where they are now, they've been able to do that. And so the cool thing is my opinion and my experience, both with my team, with real estate, with Renatus, is I like to say, if you never learn to quit, number one, and number two, if you implement, right? So not only do you not learn to quit this, but you actually go ahead and apply this, it will happen. It will come, it will work, and you will have success, and you will get into real estate, and simultaneously you will build a team. Maybe you build the team before you get into real estate, even the real estate that you really want to do, because that's going to bring you the resources that you need, both financially and team-wise and customers-wise and partners-wise, and learn and sharing with people. And so the end result will be people enrolling, right? So, most of the time over the last 6 months, I've told you guys, where I'm at financially on my business, right? What's in my pipeline, where I'm at. And so I think I'm at $52,000, give or take, right now in the order. But today I get a $10,000 check, right? Friday I get a $10,000 check. The following week I get a $9,500, or Friday I get a $9,500 check, and then the following week I get a $10,000 check. And I have another. I just placed that order last night. That won't go through till December, but I have like 3 more orders in the pipeline. One's an upgrade. One is a full combo. These are two passive sales from my students. And then I have 2 more orders that I'm potentially putting in, and another order that hasn't funded yet. So, I mean, in theory, in my back office and in the pipeline, I have about, $80,000 of unpaid business that should hit by the end of the year. And whatever, roughly. And so my point is that, these follow-ups, if you think about it, the majority of them are coming from Facebook and from my team and Craigslist. That's my 3, and Facebook's my warm market, some of my own personal warm market as well, right? And that's the only place I place an ad is Craigslist. But I've been so busy that I haven't even placed my own Craigslist ad in a month. The last ad I placed in Denver and Washington, I have about 10 calls I haven't even gotten back to, which I hope to get back to them this afternoon. But literally they're 2 weeks old or a week old or 3 weeks old. And I haven't even been able to call them back. I've been too busy. But I've been working on warm market, and I've been working on the people that are in the pipeline in my backyard. And so when I talk about these folks, I'm going to give you an example of somebody I just talked to yesterday. I posted something on Facebook the other day about how busy the real estate market is and how good it is, or whatever I said. And he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey man, I want to know more again." And I've known this guy for at least 8 years. I haven't talked to him at least 5 years. And he was really interested in real estate 5 years ago, and he was just starting his pool business. And after endless talks with him and meetings and him going to meetings and stuff, he just literally fell off the face of the earth. And now yesterday he talked to me, and I basically did an epic right over the phone. It wasn't like it was new to him, so I don't recommend doing that unless it's a circumstance like this. And so then I sent him a follow-up webinar, the comp plan webinar, and I spoke to him, and he might come Wednesday night, but this week's his birthday week, so he's going to go celebrate. He's a young guy in his 30s, and yesterday he just on the phone, he talked about the funding. He's like, "You know what? I'm going to go through Get Funded anyway, but I have about $50,000 of paid off credit cards. I already have the credit. So it's only a matter of him just doing this." Right. And then if I look at another individual, right, in my pipeline, this guy came off Craigslist. And I'll tell you, when you work with folks that are in your pipeline, you want to work with folks that are giving you the same effort you're giving. It's a much better situation. If they're not put them on a drip list, invite them once in a while, but don't spend a lot of time on them. I'm just telling you, why would you spend time with people that just are constantly, you have to drag them along? We do it because we don't have enough leads, but we don't have to. You just get more leads. Like you literally put up more signs or put up more ads or talk to more people in your warm market. But I'm telling you, this guy was, the minute he saw the first event, like he was very excited, and he's been to every event, including regional. We've been trying to fund his loan on his property for almost 3 weeks, but he signed his order 3 weeks ago. I mean, he's through the 7-day right of rescission. He's just waiting on the funding. And he was a Craigslist ad, you guys, a $45 Craigslist ad in the real estate section that says, I'm looking to build my team, right, of real estate investors, right? And I've given some of you guys my ad. It's not a big deal. It's just something that I wrote from the heart. And it's about real estate. And all he wants to do is real estate. He's got 2 young daughters, and his wife is not that into it. Like, she's been to a couple of events, but she's just she's going to support him, but she's not coming to the events with him. It's his passion. It's his dream. She's happy with her job. And she even works 2 jobs, and he just doesn't want that for his family. And so he's got a burning desire to do something, and he's willing to go to meetings and change schedules on a Saturday and get babysitters. Like, it's crazy what he's going through. He's not even in the system yet. He's not even an IMA yet. And he's doing things that some IMAs won't even do. Like, you guys, these are the people you want to work with. It's not a struggle when they're doing the work. It's not a pulling teeth when you have people in the pipeline that are just like you that want to do this. Those are the people that you want to spend time with. So his order's in, and he'll be funding on Friday. We'll have his loan for him. In fact, I'll call on the loan officer today to make sure the loan's going through, and we should have it by Friday. The student I told you about last week that just funded that paid me on Friday, paid me today. She is. I told you about her. She saw the event at Michael Huggins Regional Thursday Night Epic, and I followed up with her on Tuesday, and she enrolled in less than 30 minutes in my follow up when I answered one question. And she told me this, and some of you are new on the line. Yeah, I can get you that. I can get you that for sure. So, she said this when she enrolled. She said, Bill, the velocity banking class alone is worth more than the $20,000 I'm putting down. And if I were you, I'd use that story everywhere you go when you're talking to people in a follow-up. She sees the incredible value, and she's not an accountant or anything. She's just a normal person who just sees the value of velocity banking for what it's truly worth, and what you can possibly do with it. And then I always tell our story of one of our students here, a couple that didn't do anything for their first year except save $36,000 and pay off $76,000 of debt, and just using the one velocity banking in the credit management class. And they both raised their credit scores over 100 points. That is worth more than flipping 2 houses, in my opinion, or 4 houses. That is far more great of a story, taking that approach. And now they're poised for when the crash comes to be perfectly positioned to have cash and credit to buy rental property on sale. Another person in my pipeline, she's got equity in her house, and Wanda's going to talk to her a little bit as well. And we're working on getting her funding. I've known her for 12 years, you guys. She was the very first short sale I did. When I was a loan officer, I called on her to try to refinance her house because she was in trouble. And obviously back then I couldn't refinance her house, and it turned into a short sale. And I met her and her family, and I short sold her house successfully, and we completed 2 of them. And then she gave me 5 or 6 of her friends, and I did it with their houses. It was all referral, and not all of them closed. But like 3 out of the 7 that I worked with her and her families and her friends closed on their short sales, and I saved them from foreclosure during that time. And she'll never forget it. When her kids, their new rental house that I helped them get into got broken into, their kids, it got broken into at Christmas time, and they lost all the Christmas presents they had. So my wife and I bought them a Wii, a brand new Wii, which just came out back then, and put Christmas presents underneath their tree for them. And she'll never forget it. And she followed me, and their life changed, and things got better. But then her husband passed away. And she reached out to me not too long ago, and she said, Bill, I'm working my butt off. My kids are grown now. They're adult teenagers, and I need help. I want to change my life. I want to do real estate. No one believes in me. You always help me. Can I help you? Would you come? And she's been to every event. She went to regionals when she didn't even know what regionals was. You guys, she's attending the meetings. She attended the property tours. She just came to a Super Saturday, and she had to leave because she was there even though her kid had gotten in a major car accident the night before. She showed up a little late and she left a little early, but she went there anyway. Like the folks that are out there, the lives you're going to touch, they're there if you just don't quit and you just continue and you press on through this pursuit of happiness. And you just believe in what Michael and the leaders are sharing with you, Christian and these guys. They're on these calls and at your trainings and at your events for a reason. And it's up to you to implement it. And so, I don't know, I'll finish up with that, you guys. It's getting towards the top of the hour. I want to respect your time and make sure. The coolest thing is that the system works. It's not easy. It may take you 2 years. It's taken me, in my opinion, I really started marketing in April, I think, of 2016, March, we flew out we flew out to Utah in April of 16 to see what you guys were doing out there so we could implement the systems here. And I started marketing this company. So in my opinion, and for me, it's really been 3 pretty much full years, 2.5, 2 3/4 full years of marketing. And, I should end up over 125, maybe close to 140,000. Who knows? Maybe I'll end up at 100,000. But just in the marketing, right? But the point is, you'll get there. But the pursuit of happiness is not I don't know that it's an ending. I don't know that's something you reach. I know that it's something that the struggles that you're having, or the conflicts that you're having, or the resistance that you're having, or the everyday battle that you have in your mind with how you can get to an event, how can you spend a little extra money on this or that, how can I buy regional tickets or nationals tickets, how do I fly here or go there, how do I do this, can I do that, will I be able to do this, I can't do that. All of those things are real, and they're going to be real forever. You're an entrepreneur. You're living a dream. You're chasing a dream, and you're working hard at it, and it will pay off. It will be worth it. You will get the results you want, but trust in the struggle, trust in yourself, and pay attention to the people around you, and listen to what they're asking you to do for them, and balance it. And that's what I got. That's what I got. With that, I don't know if anybody's got any questions. We did get up to over 70 people, which was nice. I appreciate everybody's participation and being on the line. Thanks, Michael. That means a lot to me, man. I give this, you guys, I'm not Michael Huggins. I'm not making $800,000 this year in the marketing, or Christian Sadler. He's been on the pit. These guys are great leaders. And the only reason I use them and John O'Neill is because those are the guys that we are always familiar with in our group here. But, of course, all the PAC members and everything. But, I make a very high multiple 6-figure salary in the real estate with my wife. And I've been doing it for 10 years and I've got a lot of experience, and I get on these calls because Renata's changed my life. And I believe, and I know fully that it can change everybody's on this call and everybody you bring. And so I get on these calls to give you guys everything from my heart. Like I don't have I don't even know if I could do Michael's thing where you get on there and you write little squiggly lines and he attaches it on this webinar. Someday I'm going to learn that before the end of the year. But I'll tell you, thanks, you guys. I just really appreciate your comments. I appreciate you being on this call. I appreciate you sharing and letting people know. And I appreciate the feedback because it's real. And I'm here for you. So you got my cell phone number, 760-533-3141 if you ever need. Mark, you're welcome. Mike, HP. I really appreciate you guys, man. Abby, you guys are awesome. You guys are Eugene. I appreciate all you guys. You guys are the reason that this works. So you're an inspiration to me, everybody on this call. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the call tomorrow and Thursday with Christian. And it's just awesome having those leaders here and Ron putting this thing together, and all you guys do for your teams in your territories. Don't quit doing it. Volunteer, make it happen, and just keep spreading the word. Sharon's caring, as Michael says, you guys. All right. Have a great day. Thank you, Eugenio and Sosafo, Mafia. I really appreciate your guys' comments. It means a lot to me. I can't tell you how much this means to me. So thank you. Have a wonderful day. Kimberly, you're awesome. I could just sit here and keep going. All right, everybody. I guess we got to end the meeting. Regretfully, make it a great day. Pursue happiness. It's endless, but it's worth it. Love you guys. Have a great day.